Sponsored in part by DollarSeed.com for your flowers, vegetables, and herbs. All organic seeds, all only $1 a pack. DollarSeed.com. And by WillowSpringsSoap.com. Handmade soaps with simple, recognizable ingredients, making soaps using the cold kettle process while using traditional methods. WillowSpringsSoap.com.
Manure.com, authentic Haven brand, 100% natural soil conditioner for the home garden, all your vegetables, herbs, and flowers. Manure.com, always free shipping. Squirm and Worm Farm, organic farm and gardening supplies. It's conveniently located in Plymouth, Wisconsin. Worm castings, organic potting soil, organic and heirloom seeds, cover crop seeds, and more. SquirmandWormFarm.com.
Welcome to Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Extra. I'm Joy Barrett. Well, it's the end of May and it's time to start planting our tomatoes here in southeast Wisconsin. Now, you may have already planted your tomatoes or you're still anxious to get them in the ground. There's a couple of methods that we use that are very successful, and that's courtesy of Bob Webster. He owns a nursery in Texas and he's got a lot of great information about growing the best tomatoes ever. So what we've done here, we've got 24 tomatoes that we've gridded off in our little area. We've got a bunch of different varieties, and what we've tried to do is consolidate, these 4 here is one variety, that 4 there is another variety type of thinking, so we know what's what, and then there's a trick we're going to use that so we can identify what variety is planted where. Some of you may like to know that, others may not care at all. But let's get started planting our tomatoes here. This one's going to be an Amish paste. Now, I've previously removed a lot of the stalks or the stems, leaves, branches, whatever you want to call them, the base of the plant, so we can bury it deeper. Let's see if I can find one here this one here. If you want to remove all of that and then plant that thing deep, because it's part of the nightshade family, and all those little fibrous hairs on the stalk will develop roots. And the deeper you can go, the better off. Now, what's the best way to plant your tomatoes? It really depends on the type of soil, and Bobby from the MHP Gardener has a great episode on that, and that'll be in the show notes below. And he explains all the different methods that you can plant your tomatoes and which may be the best for you. So I'll let Bobby take care of that portion of planting the tomatoes in the best type of soil, best type of conditions. With this Amish paste one, we've got a hole. We're going to figure out how deep, and again, we want to plant this as deep as we potentially can, so all the fibrous roots, all the fibers on that stalk can develop into roots. Okay, so we want to take it out of our cup or tray or whatever you got it in, and you can see how loose that soil is. That's good. So now most of it's fell in our hole, so we want to re-dig our hole here. So I'm going to go about there. That's pretty good. Now, before I put that plant in, I've got some good purple cow compost here. I'm going to take a handful of that, put that in the bottom of the hole. Here's the key to good tomato growing: rock phosphate. I'm going to take a handful of that, put it in the bottom of the hole. Don't mix this in, otherwise it won't work. Put it in the bottom of the hole and then set the roots of the tomato directly on that rock phosphate. And then we just cover it up. And if you want, you can mound the dirt up around the stem of the tomato if you so choose to. It's just going to build more roots, kind of like you would mound, have a plateau for if you're planting zucchini or pumpkins or something like that. So now, if you followed our straight to the series point, we've put Epsom salt around where all these plants were going to go, and I'm just going to shoot it with another handful of Epsom salt to help prevent blossom and root rot there. And we're going to take our tomato cage, put over top. Now, whatever tomato cage you choose is totally up to you. There's no right or wrong one. We want to set that thing down there as good as we can. Here's the trick. If you want to know what you've got planted, we've used row markers, window blinds before, and you ride on them after about 3 rains, it disappears and you have really no clue what you got. So Holly and I developed and came up with this. It's just a tiny little sandwich bag with a piece of paper and the variety of the tomato, clothespin, wrap that around, and that thing be very, very difficult for that to come off. So now we know, because we like to know what they are, what the variety of tomatoes is planted where they're planted at. So we've got them all planted, and I'm just topping off, hitting them with a little more Epsom salt just to help them out. Now, with if you're wanting to save seeds from your tomatoes, you want to do that with the heirloom variety of tomatoes. You could do it with the organic, but heirloom is the best variety to do so. Hybrid, if you try to save the seeds, it won't hold to the exact traits as the parent plant for 6 generations, and it'll take 6 generations to get back to what it is. So we've got some heirloom pink brandywines, we've got some heirloom green zebra and rainbow. Now, we could save the seeds as they are here, but there is some chance of cross-pollination between plant and plant. That's only about 10%. So if you want to save seeds from a specific variety, you want to set that variety off to the side and strictly grow that plant for seed. And that's what we're going to do up on the higher end of the garden with some pink brandywine. So let's go inside, and Holly's going to show us a way of growing tomatoes if you don't have the opportunity to grow them in the ground, in a neat little device that we got from the Seed Keeper Company.
Another way you can plant your tomatoes in what's called a burlap girdle. And that's what this is right here. We're going to put a rainbow blend tomato in there the same way with the rock phosphate and the Epsom salt. This is courtesy of the Seed Keeper Company, and they sell these burlap girdles. We were able to meet them this past winter at the Garden Expo in Madison, Wisconsin, and we're going to let them explain to you why I plant the tomato, what the burlap girdle is.
So, you know, you've got what you call the girdle.
Yes.
And it's something that we're going to try this year, and talk about some of the benefits to having what you got in your hand here.
Well, let me grab this.
We're going to show you here with the example. I'm showing you here as a 10-gallon size.
And this is what it is. A burlap girdle is made up of 2 components. It is a commercial grade grow bag that has pre-drilled holes, so it's got great drainage. It slips inside the burlap girdle that is stable stitched here and stable stitched here so that it doesn't fray. You open it up and put some soil inside and you begin to grow. Now I use the 10-gallon girdles, which you'll see over there with that little pine tree in them, to grow all of my peppers and tomatoes. They love it because this dark bag attracts heat and the soil stays warm so that they grow very well. Tomatoes and peppers like warm soil, right?
Right.
And they're very lightweight, so they're easy to use. And at the end of the day, this is biodegradable, this is compostable, so we're saving the earth.
Now, if you wanted to reuse them next year, you could, couldn't you?
You definitely
Okay.
could,
Absolutely.
definitely.
So, if you've not checked them out, what's your website that they can go to?
Seedkeepercompany.com.
As you can see, it's a great device that you can use year after year. You can put it on one of these drip trays as we did to keep it contained. We're going to go ahead and put it in the window bay of our basement so it's a nice safe place to be. As we put out a new video every Tuesday, feel free to rate, comment, or subscribe. I'm Holly Baird, and this has been a Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Extra.
For more information, you can visit our website at thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.